Welcome students. On the occasion of Akshay Urja Divas, which translates to Renewable or Replenishable Energy Day. On this occasion, let's analyze how Indian power sector is performing and how it is reliable and how it is sustainable. Okay, without any delay, let's get into our topic. So let's analyze and track how power sector in India is performing. Okay, before setting a tone for relevance of examination, let's do it by looking at a question that could serve in mains. So if you can read this question, it says, access to affordable, reliable and sustainable modern energy is sine qua non to achieve sustainable development goals. So the second part says, comment on the progress that India is made in this regard. So let's try to analyze the content that suits this question. That means we are assessing power sector of India in three parameters. One is about affordability. Second one, is it reliable enough? And the third one, how sustainable is Indian power sector? In this context, let's discuss the progress India has been making in the last decade. Okay. So the first thing first, all these three parameters are part of a sustainable development goal, which is sustainable development goal of 7. Under sustainable development goal 7, we expect a country to progress by providing accessibility to power, which is uninterrupted or reliable. And the third one is about sustainability. It should be greener and replenishable. So if you can look at the parameters, it sums up with sustainable development goal 7. But this sustainable development goal 7 has repercussions over all other sustainable development goals as well. So we need to assess it in terms of inclusivity and also how far it is reliable enough to produce a renewable energy as well. Okay. So if you look at the progress India has made in last decade, first thing, when we say energy, it's not just about electricity. It's any form of energy. So the first target of creating an inclusive access is about giving LPG connections. So around 50 million, which translates to 5 crores. 5 crore connections were given to BPL families. Under which scheme? Ujjwala Yojana. So this is first step or the single prime step that has been taken by Government of India to ensure clean energy is accessible to everyone else, irrespective of their affordability. So affordable energy has been given this way. And another step, it's about electrification. So rural electrification has been challenging since independence, and today, at least on paper, we achieved 100% of villages. When I say villages, it includes urban areas as well. So all the villages in India has at least a single pole of electricity, and 78% of households have a reliable connection, which means connected by the DISCOMs in the respective states. So the schemes that have been utilized here is Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana. This is a fulcrum. Along with that, we have other schemes like Saubhagya and various state government schemes which together achieve this. So this is another progress that could be scalable, and hopeful that in few years we may reach to 100% of households with electricity. Okay. Now, as we said, the affordability is addressed, accessibility is addressed. Now let's move on to the sustainability part. how sustainable is India's energy? Hardly there was any discussion at least about renewable energy or sustainability in energy sector before 2010, when National Solar Mission, which was named as Rajiv Gandhi National Solar Mission, which was launched in 2010, started this foundation. And from then, India has almost achieved 125 gigawatts of renewable energy, which includes not just solar, majorly solar and wind, which constitute to 115 out of 125. The rest 10 gigawatts are from various other sources like biomass, maybe tidal and other places. Again, is this progress enough? Sadly, it's not enough, because Indian government has pledged 5,000 gigawatts to be established as part of INDC, nationally determined contributions, to achieve by 2030. So 125 is hardly 25% of which we have pledged. So still a long way to go. 75% of the capacity is still to be built. Okay. If this is the case, then how about the greener part of energy? When I say sustainable, it also should be a greener enough. So India has only 18% of its energy needs met by renewable energy. The rest is from various sources, and sadly, more than half of our energy sources are from thermal and other fossil fuels. So now just try to understand this, at least give a thought about it. If you're utilizing electric vehicles, we call it cleaner. But if the electricity which we are utilizing to charge those vehicles, if they are made or produced from the same fossil fuels, we're actually polluting more, because directly utilizing the fossil fuel in a diesel engine or any kind of engine has no transmission losses. It has more efficiency instead of generating the electricity and transmitting and utilizing it for mobility. So we are actually polluting more utilizing the electric vehicles if we are not having more than 50% of the share in renewable energy. So hope you understood the progress that we are making. Another thing, the last one which we need to focus on is about efficiency in appliances. So how efficient are our appliances? Are we using low quality appliances so that we are not able to meet the targets? And are we consuming more to produce the similar illumination or similar kind of mobility? So for this, we need to understand that hardly 30% to 35% of our appliances are 5-star rated by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, which means the progress is not at least a halfway mark. So what we could do this as a solution is, the first thing, as the guidelines were issued by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, at least government offices could be following those 5-star rated appliances so that the energy consumption would be reduced. Okay. Then what about the ambitious missions of hydrogen production? And what about the solar panels which are being subsidized over the years? Still, the renewable energy is costlier than the conventional energy. How could we bridge them? So, sadly, the present budget and economic survey are lamenting by reduction of budget towards greener part. Instead, they are sponsoring new supercritical thermal power plants which would pollute more. So this is the sad part of it. So we could instead, as a suggestion, could take hydrogen mission seriously to produce two things which are major hurdles. One is about the schemes, the sub-scheme of site, which incentivizes electrode production, because single most costly thing which we are importing is those electrodes which are essential to produce hydrogen. The second one is corrosion resistant steel. The other problem with hydrogen is, despite the production of hydrogen, the container to transport it gets brittle unless the steel is corrosionless. So this if it is addressed, it can incentivize hydrogen production. And another part of efficiency which we need to be thinking about is, if we are producing renewable energy, mostly wind and solar energy being DC produced, it is hard to connect to grid. So it has to be utilized immediately or stored in batteries rather than injecting it to grid. So when we can't connect it to grids, the problem with that is it has to be either converted into some other energy form like hydrogen, which could be the green hydrogen, or else another problem is we switch to wind instead of solar whenever it's possible, because wind energy being alternate connected could be connected to grid easily. Hope you understood various hurdles that are innate to the power sector which are need to be addressed. With this, you could understand the progress that we have made, which we could boast upon, and areas where we are yet lagging and significant progress is to be made. With this, at the outset, we could say that we need to carve niche. The niche technology that we adopt is really essential, not just for mitigation of climate change, but also to transition into the most essential modern part of adaptation. So to adapt the already happened damage, which is irrevocable, we need to switch to the greener technologies, which includes not just about producing solar or wind, but also the base load of maybe nuclear, maybe other biomass conversion, because the waste generation, the municipal solid waste, which could also be powering the renewable energy mission, is quintessential to be utilized. Hope you got enough analysis and the status of power sector in India, which could be utilized to answer the first question which we started with. If you look at the question, we discussed about the affordability to recap, and also about the reliability that is necessary. And the third one is about the sustainability. And the hidden part in this question is about how modern energy is, when I say sine qua non, it's quintessential to achieve the sustainable development goals, which includes inclusivity, access to the energies, and other things which may include about basic communities which are essential for human to live life with dignity. Hope you could utilize this content that is being provided in this video to answer this. Try attempting this question. Another day, I'll be back before you with much more analytical video, and hope we can meet again with a fresh topic. Until then, I think it's time to bid adios. Thank you.